871-3387.
Well, I've met a lot of attorneys, but it's safe to say that I haven't met an attorney quite with the same approach as our next guest. Joined here in studio by Michael Stuart, who, as I just mentioned him, probably wins the award for being one of our closest guests to the studio. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
You bet. So, Michael, if you don't mind, tell our listeners about your unique approach in estate planning. And certainly I want to get to the business side of things as well.
Sure. Well, we have a unique approach, like you said, that allows people to not only transfer their wealth and save taxes, but also deal with the real issues about what's going to happen to the family if they do that. We want to make sure that the family's taken care of, that we know what the parents want to do or the family wants to do. And so there's no confusion about who's going to get what or why. It's not a gift. It's a responsibility for the family to be able to grow strong, be harmonious, and live a good life based on values that they have.
Well, radio doesn't give us a good opportunity to show things, but you showed me something just a little bit ago with sort of a unique story that your document, that your clients probably become accustomed to, that personal approach. And if I'm not mistaken, you're the only attorney in Illinois that can provide that personalized document.
I'm pretty sure I am. I don't know of any other attorneys that are doing quite that. What we do is we talk to clients about what their hopes and dreams are, who the angels and heroes are in their lives, what legacy means, what success means. And at times we can record that conversation and burn a CD for them so they can take that to their families. But the technology you're talking about is the one that I learned where I can actually incorporate that into a document. So now the document has life to it. It has some living to it. In my documents, for example, when my kids get a distribution from my trust, they're going to know that I'm talking to them. So that there's no confusion about the history, the heirlooms, the wisdom that I wanted to impart. That's all in the document, and it doesn't mess up the legalese of the document. That's incredible. That's unique. And as I said, I've met a lot of attorneys, but certainly the ability to tell that story and to provide that personal approach is incredibly meaningful. And one of the first questions that I asked you when we first met was about the business side of things. A lot of your clients are business owners, and how often is the conversation, or at what point in a business is the conversation about succession planning taking place? It should take place a lot earlier than it does, quite honestly. But the reality is that most business owners are too busy running their businesses and trying to make business happen to really sit down and think about, how do I get out of this business when I want to get out of it? In my opinion, it should start as early as possible. Once the business becomes successful, they should start thinking about, how am I going to transition this down the road? What does this really mean to me? Because most people don't realize that's maybe the biggest asset they have next to their house in their estates. The bigger issue is, how do they want to transition that? So, for example, if they want to transition it to their kids, is there any design, any vision that they had that they've actually written down, like a constitution, if you will, that says, this is how I see the business going on, not only for my generation or the next generation, but for generations down the road. And it would be very cool to say, well, I've developed a business that not only my kids can run, but my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-grandkids, and they have some meaningful significance that they leave in legacy in their lives. Once again, we're chatting with Michael Stuart, who is an attorney of the Stuart Legacy Alliance, a really unique approach, not only on the estate planning side, but really you are a facilitator of conversation. That's what I took out of our discussion. You bring up perhaps some of the difficult conversations that need to take place and set it in a format, in a strategy that your clients can take and actually put into practice, certainly business succession planning being one of them. And I know our listeners will probably get mad at me for bringing in a Donald Trump analogy over here, but it's something that I shared with you the other day. I heard it on TV that one of Donald Trump's kids were asked if they were going to go to the White House with Donald Trump if he is indeed elected president, which is sounding, I guess, somewhat likely at this point in time. And the answer was, listen, he wouldn't be running for president if we didn't have that conversation about succession planning, about the Trump enterprise. And it really is important. So going back to that question that I asked you about succession planning and the timing of that conversation, is it ever too early, too soon to have that discussion, either in a family business or really any enterprise that one of our listeners might be involved in? I don't think so. I think that especially in a family business where there's a transition to the other family members, you have to have the discussion to find out who's capable of handling that business. Some of them may not be able to. There may have to be other people that come involved, other key employees that help the family run the business for a while or until the family can grow up in the business and learn what the ins and outs are. One of the biggest problems, I think, is that the parent generation doesn't talk about their trials and tribulations going through the process. So they don't really understand what the good things and the bad things that happened, and the kids can learn from the bad things and be more productive in what they're doing. But I think it's a good conversation to have early on.
Oh, sure. So, Michael, where's your office located?
It's at 3701 Algonquin Road, Suite 260 in Rolling Meadows. Right.
Rolling Meadows, as I said, not too far away, which is great and convenient. And you're licensed to practice here in Illinois. And where are your clients generally from?
They're all five county areas. I have some clients that have moved out of state, and we help them as well. But mostly in the metropolitan area, 5 counties.
Fantastic. Well, you're helping a lot of people, and I want to make sure our listeners have a way to get a hold of you if they want to learn more and start to tell their story. Again, the very unique approach, certainly impressive to me. Michael, how can our listeners get a hold of you?
They can go to www.sla-law.com. That's www.susanlarryalbert-law.com, or the phone number is 847-398-7901.
Fantastic. Michael Stuart of the Stuart Legacy Alliance, attorneys and counselors at law with a very unique approach to estate planning, but also business succession. After the break, I've got some tips for you as you head into the second half of January of 2016. There's some new technology that I think all business owners can be taking advantage of. You're listening to Get Down to Business. Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solution center. Give them a call at 630-928-0510 or visit tandemhr.com.
Hi there.